Well, I'm actually want to talk about your childhood in that you grew up pretty strangely.
Very strange upbringing.
Tell me, for people who don't know much about you.
Do the Cliff's Notes. New Orleans, Treme, which is like right outside the French Quarter. Black neighborhood.
And like the series, it was very slow. Kidding.
God, that series was slow. I was like, here we go.
Fuck.
There's so much shooting.
David Simon, I'm begging you to speed this up.
I know. I was shocked, you know.
Put a gun in the scene. And I'm begging you.
Something. But yeah, so Dad got a wild hair up his ass in 1989 and bought this dilapidated mansion. And I'm talking mansion, like wings of a
Treme's
house.
in New Orleans, and it's like a Gothic, I'm assuming like a Gothic mansion.
Exactly. It was called the Dufour Baldwin House. It was probably the hotel, then a brothel, all these kind of crazy stories. And it was, dilapidated. So we had no running water. We had no lights. We'd have like a mechanic's light hanging in your bedroom. You plug that into an extension cord, and that went into one of the outlets.
Did your dad, why was he doing it?
I think he grew up poor, and I think this was like he's like, I'm going to fix this house up. We're going to live in New Orleans and live like kings.
Had he ever fixed anything up before?
Never.
That's so funny.
I know, and they were both kind of like these ambulance-chasing lawyers. Like, they're good people and all that, but they were dreamers. And so the house was barely running, and we had duvetine on this giant window flat. We had termite, the roaches. It was crazy. And I had friends
How many kids?
Me and my brother, two kids.
He's older?
Older brother, perfect son. He went off to do great things. I tell dick jokes. But we eventually, they were working so much to kind of try to keep pumping money into the house. So they made, the back of it was, they restored that. That took forever. That became a bed and breakfast. This is pre-Airbnb.
That's so funny that the minute they fix up a section of it, they're like, not so fast, boys.
Exactly.
We're renting this motherfucker out.
Right. That's
Unless
the nice
if you
part.
guys have $95 a night each,
Yeah.
we'd love to have you. But yeah,
I was allowed to change the sheets and restock the mini fridges.
what a privilege.
I
Go
know.
ahead.
But then they were gone so much that they needed kind of a nanny. So they hired this big black guy named Enos. Great guy, but he did burlesque at night. He was a transvestite, is what you called him then, cross-dresser. And he wore high heels, and he was sweeping with a Walkman on and a wig and a boa. He was all in. And he taught me
Now,
how to...
this is the sitcom about your life, or this actually?
I've been pitching this for years. No one will buy it. It's too dark. But it was so scary going. I got beat up all the time. My bike got stolen, 8 times. Cars got stolen. We'd try to go to school. The cars would be gone.
That's
It was
wild.
crazy. And
Did you ever say, like, why are we doing this? Would your parents argue about it?
They argued, I think, in privacy. But I was so young. I just thought, this is what you do. And I'd go to the suburbs to visit my friends. It was paradise. Bikes in the front lawn, orange slices, an above ground pool. Heaven.
2 lawyers.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they bit off more than they can chew with this house, I think. And they were trying. But I just remember my mom whipping up pancakes, and that was for the breakfast guests, I had an oatmeal. But just crazy time. And Enos taught me how to fist fight.
She'd mix it near your head. Like, not so fast.
Yeah, exactly. He taught me how to drive a stick, how to shave, how to dance a little with a girl and all that. So I learned how to be a man from this guy in a wig. And then one time, a famous story, these guys stole my bike.
This is what Ron DeSantis is trying to fight, right? He's trying to make sure this doesn't happen to another generation of kids.
He was Enos, actually. And I got my bike, so I ran home crying. And he goes, we're getting that bike. And I was like, I'm not going out. These guys were tough street kids. And he went, and we drove around the neighborhood, found the kids. They were fucking with my bike, like fixing it and changing it. And he went out there in high heels and wig and yelled at them. They're calling him all kinds of shit. And he took the bike back so ballsy that no one did anything. And it was like, this is what a man is. This is like the toughest guy I've ever seen. And he's in a wig.
Great.
So it was a fun childhood.
Save this story for when you get canceled for something. How everything you've learned is from a transgender person. Are you in touch with Enos?
He died. He was killed. He hooked up with a guy who thought it was a woman. And then they were fooling around. And the guy flipped and shot him. This is Southern justice,
Did you ever have like a logical argument with your parents? Like, what the fuck is this? Not even saying it, but did you think it?
Not really, actually, because it's just so normal. It's just like you go to bed here, you wake up here, you eat here. I hated it. And we had break-ins. I walked in on a few robberies. We had this crazy house alarm, and we would hear woo, woo, woo woo, and you're
it wasn't Enos?
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
in your bed at like 2 a.m. It's like a 9-year-old, like, oh, there's someone rooting around downstairs. And then dad's going down with the bat, and you're like, this could be it. I don't know what's going to happen. And then you go back to sleep and you go to school. I mean, it was wild.
Well, that's another thing I like about you is you. I got like breaks more or less, like meaning like big, like Chappelle obviously gave me, but I'm saying like my brother's a comedian. I was going to school up here. I got into school up here, and then I started working the door of the comedy club and flyers and all that stuff, and like struggled in that. But I feel like my struggle was like 3 years, 4 years, whereas yours was like.
Well, didn't you have 9 brothers or something? That's no picnic.
No. I'm not saying that that my life's been like a picnic, but I'm saying your
career-wise.
Once you started doing stand, I just see you. All right, so you leave. Did you go to Tulane?
I went to LSU, failed out, had to go to Baton Rouge Community College, then graduated from this shitty college called Southeastern in the middle of nowhere, Louisiana.
Great.
I had to get a degree. My parents made me.
And then, so you could open a B&B. And did your parents stop once you guys left? What happened to the mansion?
Well, now it gets dark. So I was at a Mardi Gras parade.
Now it gets dark. Go ahead.
I was at a Mardi Gras parade. I was 14. I was a freshman in high school. At a parade, drinking, doing whatever. Came home, 30 cop cars, sirens going. I'm like, oh, shit. And my mom's crying. Dad's talking to the police. Brother's crying. 2 guys broke in, put guns to the parents' head, tied up my brother, and got all the keys and the jewelry and the credit card, stole everything, took the cars, and then they moved.
Your parents moved.
That's what did it, yeah. So then they moved to this nice...
How much did you pay the burglars? I'm kidding. Then you moved to a nicer place?
Yeah, we moved to a nice neighborhood, and but then I went to college, like pretty close after that.
Okay, so parents, nice people. How do they look back at that period?
I think they were like, well, that was crazy, huh? Like, whoa. It's almost like when a car almost hits you. You're like, I almost died, but woo.
Also, the car hit us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it sounds like it was a bad time.
Yeah, it was wild. I don't know. We never talk about it. Never comes up. They're not open uppers. They see where I get it.
Okay. Well,
and I couldn't wait to get out. Like New Orleans is a great town and fun for a bachelor party and whatnot, but not a great place to grow up.
Hey, did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah, did you like it though? You want more? Don't want to work? Would rather watch videos of me grab-assing with people? First of all, go up here to subscribe, and then go up here to watch more clips. This is like when the weatherman says that there's a high pressure system coming in. I'm not really used to the